everyone, it's James from FunFoods, and today we're going to make these giant Kool-Aid gummy bears. There are a lot of different flavors we can choose from, so let's get to it. We're going to make Giant Gummy Bear, a Kool-Aid gummy bear, and we're going to use this mold right here. I've used this mold before on a giant gummy bear, but this time it's going to be a Kool-Aid gummy bear, so it's a little different. I will put a link to this mold in the description below, so go check it out if you want to get a hold of it yourself. Now, start off with a very large pot here. And to that, we're going to add 1 quart or 4 cups of water to it. Now, I've decided to use cherry Kool-Aid for this, and I'm going to use 2 packages of this Kool-Aid. So just go ahead and open that up. Sprinkle it around. And for our other one, same thing. Now, we all know you need sugar when you're making Kool-Aid. This is a 1/2 cup of sugar. Yes, I said a 1/2 cup. If you know, you know. Go ahead and give that a mix. Let all that work through. And next, we got to add unflavored gelatin to this. This comes in a couple different ways. You could get it in a package like this, and it comes with 4 of these individual packages. You can also buy a big container of this, in which this case, you're going to have to measure it out to equal that same as the 24 packages. And I'll tell you exactly how many that is in just a moment. Okay, so the amount of gelatin you're going to need is about 24 of these tablespoons. Just go ahead and sprinkle it in. So far, I put 10 tablespoons of this gelatin in there. I'm going to give it a mix, just a gentle mix through, and just add some more. So I've decided to do 15 tablespoons of this. You can see how thick it is. Let's let this sit for about 2 to 5 minutes, and then we'll come back to it. So coming back to this after about 5 minutes, you can see it is nice and thick. All right, see how thick that is? That's what we want. We're going to take this, bring this over to the stove, and heat it up until it becomes all liquefied. Turn this on medium-high heat. And it'll take a couple seconds, and then just stir it. And you see it doesn't take long, it starts to melt. Just go ahead and give it a stir. And you'll see it starts to heat up nicely. So once you're satisfied that all that gelatin has dissolved and it's at the point right before it starts to boil, go ahead and turn off your heat of your stove. And we're going to bring this over to our workstation. First thing first, just take our mold, our silicone mold, spray it with some cooking spray. Be generous. Now we're just going to bring in our Kool-Aid liquid here and pour it into our mold. Fill it all the way up to that top. So the first one's going to be this cherry one. I'm going to put that in the refrigerator overnight and see how it holds up. And if it works out well, we'll move on to some other flavors. All right, so I let this sit in the refrigerator for about 7 hours, not overnight all the way. Hopefully it's good and I can take it out. If not, I hope I don't mess it up, but we'll see. So just sit there and okay, good. It's separating pretty nice. That's a good sign. And we're going to just flip it over and see if it comes out. It worked. So perfect. Overnight, and it took 7 hours, and it's pretty firm actually. It's not like ready to break at all. I think it's because I did use a lot of gelatin. I'm going to use a little less gelatin on my next one. So this one's cherry. We're going to make blue next. Now that we have our cherry one already made up, I am going to start with our large bowl again, 4 cups of water. And this time we're using our blue raspberry lemonade, and we're going to put that in there. Now you can make this with 3 packages. I don't think it would harm anything. It might add a little extra flavor, a little stronger flavor if you want to try that. If you do, let me know how it works out. Just like we did before, I'm going to put a 1/2 cup of sugar because, you know, it's Kool-Aid. You got to have sugar. Now last time I did 15 tablespoons of gelatin and it held up really nice. I'm gonna try to do 12 and see if that works. I think we can go a little less on the gelatin. And once that's mixed in really good, you can see this is nowhere near as thick as our last one, and that's fine. We're gonna try it out. Hopefully it works out with just 12 tablespoons of gelatin. So now I'm just gonna let this sit and harden up for at least 5 minutes. All right, so I let this sit for about 5 minutes. You can see it's nowhere near as thick as the cherry we had. So hopefully this works out, but we will see. Let's take this over to the stove. Okay, so just like we did before, I already sprayed our mold. So all I have to do is fill it up carefully. That's all full. I'm gonna put this in the refrigerator, and this time I am gonna leave it overnight, and then we'll come to it in the morning. Hopefully it works out. If not, I have to start all over from scratch. I will point out too, I'm using this silicone mold. That is so much better. I've seen people try to make giant gummy bears with the plastic molds. Real problem is we heat up this gelatin and this mixture here. If you put it into a plastic container, sometimes it's too hot and it melts that container. So be careful with that. Let's go ahead and put this in the refrigerator. All right, so I let our blue raspberry Kool-Aid gummy bear sit in the refrigerator overnight. So hopefully it'll come out easily. Let's see. It looks pretty good so far. Remember, we used a little less of the gelatin. So hopefully it holds and it comes out easy, but we will see. Looks, like I said, so far so good. Let's see. Kind of push it at some of these points. I'm always a little shy of using a little less gelatin because I have before and it didn't work out. So, ooh, looks good. Okay. So again, less gelatin, but this time it worked out. Look at that. So far we have our blue raspberry lemonade and our cherry Kool-Aid. They're both good, so I think we're okay with using less gelatin. Let's make another one. Which flavor should I use? All right, for our next one, I am going to use the lemonade. I was going to go grape, but I decided on the lemonade just to make that yellow color. I think the yellow will stand out nice with the blue and red. That's why I picked it, and who knows, maybe I will make the grape too. We'll see. Now it's time for the taste test. Let's dig into the cherry. There's a lot of unflavored gelatin. This one is thicker than the other two, but it's still okay. Next up, we're going to do our blue raspberry lemonade. Not as hard as the cherry because I did use a lot of gelatin. And then last, the lemonade. I actually like the lemonade the best. I didn't use as much gelatin, so it's not as thick as the cherry. And the lemonade just comes through. Thanks everyone for watching. I hope you enjoyed watching me make these giant Kool-Aid gummy bears. Of course, our cherry, our blue raspberry, even our lemonade. We have a bunch of them to choose from. Tell me which one in the comments you like the best. And until then, I'll see you next time. So I put 15 tablespoons. For our next recipe, no. You can get a hold of this in, no. Hold when we, no. Okay, so I've let this sit for, no. Sit in the refrigerator, let's start over.